What's up, Vernon? I have an enormous box to open. But in the meantime, I got a ham sandwich to eat. I can't recall if I got an email from this person. And if I did, I'm sorry. I get lots and lots and lots and lots of emails and messages, and I apologize if I miss something or something goes to spam, or I don't intend to. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of something and I'll catch an email and then I'll forget to go back to it. I give it an honest effort. I get a lot of messages. Hello, Don Sharp and Diane Dalton from Tennessee. Sharon Hart. Oh, Vernon, I'm feeling better today than I have been. I don't know, man. It's been weeks since I've really felt healthy. I'm like going through the cold sweats and shit. But today, I got the windows open and I'm on shorts, or excuse me, in shorts and flip-flops with the fan blowing behind me. Hello, Jamie Austin from West Virginia. If my kitchen was a little cleaner, I'd have made a video on making this sandwich. So this is pretty kick-ass. What's up, Tracy? How those M&Ms treating you? I don't know, man. I've just felt bad for weeks. I don't know. From Duncan, Arizona. I drove a tow truck in Arizona for 10 years, and the fact that I've never heard of Duncan means there's probably nothing there. Good. I'm watching your channel and the good we do for veterans. Well, that's what we do. Try to. Haven't been doing it much lately because it's just kind of been going back and forth here at the house. Hopefully you're feeling better, Jamie. Nah, it's just like I get better, the wife gets sick. The wife gets better, I get sick. Hello, Audrey. We'll have another one of these videos tomorrow for the box that Audrey sent. This box doesn't have a name on it. Hopefully it, I am good, Eugenia. Hopefully it's got a note inside as to who sent this big monstrosity of an Amazon box. Sometimes they include a note, otherwise there's no return address, and it's hard to give somebody credit and thank them. Let's see. I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here and watch me chew. But I was hungry and excited to get the box open. So I'm eating lunch while I'm doing this. Sitting at the doctor's right now. I may not be able to stay for all the video. Well, you can always go back and watch it again. Oh, wow. All right. As my dad would always say, ask and you shall receive. Hey, Brittany. So that is 3-pack, 75 count, 3 cases of Clorox wipes. I don't know that we got anything from the UK. I'll have to ask little Nobody. She'll be here tomorrow. Alright. So that is exactly. Could not be more thankful. Because although these things are affordable, when you're going through 2 packs a week, hey Claire, wiping down dumpster stuff, you know, every few little bucks here and there counts. Because we go through 2 of these a week, wiping down dumpster goods. The wife will be eternally grateful as well. Hello, Claire, sorry. Imagine that. It's my birthday and I get to see a live video. What more could you ask for? If you were 29 again, I'm sure, Brittany, right? You could always ask for that. Sorry. Her and I had a little chat the other day that was kind of funny. Happy birthday. If I'd have known, I'd have sent you another postcard. Yeah, so... Second box. Alright, you want to know what's even better about this? Third box, right? Is that now I have a clean box that didn't come out of the dumpster to put food in to take. So this will be multi-purpose. So not only did whoever sent me this needs to send me a remind email if you did, or take claim in the group, something. Because there's no slip in the box. And I definitely need to thank whomever sent this box, unless they want to stay anonymous. But yeah, now I got a clean box to put food in for the dumpster. Or for the shelter, excuse me. Oh, we find, we like to find big plastic totes that are set out for trash on the side of the road. Otherwise, the diabetes dumpster, generally they don't even break their boxes down. They're just thrown all in a pile there, and we can get a handful of them that are clean, that haven't touched the bottom of the can. What in the world? What the fuck, dude? Some homeless looking dude. Now, we prefer to find the used totes on the side of the road, because they clean out with the Clorox wipe, and then when we go to the shelter, if they send people out with blankets and bedding and stuff, they can send them out in those totes. Otherwise, we find clean boxes. Oh man, dude, it's, yeah, I got the fans blowing and the windows on, and it's still 72 in the house, and I'm kind of warm. Oh, come on. This phone functions well. Which takes me to the next conversation. That I do believe I have made a deal. This happens 3 times a day with a guy. We didn't get DD and Beckley and behind Kmart. We had to get Lee trash cans, and we wanted them, but couldn't get them. Well, if they're locked up or they're behind something you don't want, that's a good way to go to jail. Anyway, I made a deal with a guy. Hello, Janet. We'll see if he follows through. That in exchange for the dumpster wagon, the old blue dumpster wagon that I've been trying to sell, he's going to give, because he's actually he sells cell phones for a living. Imagine that. He's going to give me a brand new Samsung Galaxy S7 in the box, and port my number over to it. Still going to be on Straight Talk, but he's going to give me a brand new phone in the box and a car that needs a little bit of work. Spend a weekend in July in Florida before you make that decision, because we spent a weekend there, and hello from Louisiana. Now, we spent a weekend there in December, and it was miserable. 85 degrees in December, so I can only imagine July. I spent a weekend at West Palm Beach in July once, and that was nasty. Yeah, no, I was only expecting to get $1,000 out of the car, and it's a $700 phone. Granted, it's not an S8, it's not a brand new one, but it's better than this antique piece of crap I'm using. And it's brand new in the box, and he's going to do all the work to make it work. And it's and he's going to bring me a car that needs an alternator that I can fix and probably sell for $500. So win-win. Well, I would recommend, yeah, sweet deal if it holds up. Like, if you're looking to retire and you don't want to deal with traffic, I would, if you want to be in the Charleston area, I'd look at like Awendaw, Awendaw, I think. Because it's far enough out, but you're still close enough to major grocery stores, Walmarts, hospital. Because something you got to understand about South Carolina is you've got like the Charleston area, you got the Columbia area, you got Rockville, which is actually Charlotte, and then you got Greenville. Everything else, there's nothing there. And like once you get even 10 miles out of town, you're in the middle of nothing. Cell phones hardly even work. And granted, I complain about that, but then I complain about the growth in the area. I just liked that, I don't know. It was nice here when I moved here. It's busy now. And all the dudes wear women's pants. Everything that you would picture in your head from the movies of like Deliverance and the Redneck South, and there ain't even hardly lifted trucks in the Charleston area. Hey, Susan, Texas. Yeah, if you're in Southern California, absolutely. Anywhere from about Big Sur north in California is going to be just as cold. And yeah, you were somewhere like Bakersfield. Granted, you'd have to be in Bakersfield. It's dry all year. Not too bad in San Diego, but forget those prices. I don't know, Lisa. Probably not going to be tonight. We were going to go Tuesday, but it didn't happen for reasons undisclosed. The wife actually wanted to go last night, but that didn't happen. And not for, well, you would think. I'd like to go tonight, but my kid's school is like 60 miles from where I live, give or take. Sort of, kind of. It takes an hour to get there, and I have to be there at 9:30 tomorrow morning for a performance. And I don't know about staying up until midnight, wiping stuff off, and then having to get up and be out of my house by 8 o'clock in the morning. It may end up having to be Sunday night after the Daytona 500 again. See, that's how most of South Carolina is, Christina Words. Yeah, that go-kart's awesome. So it'll probably end up being Sunday after the Daytona 500 again before we get out, just because the kid's here this weekend. I got to be up there, and then she's got basketball practice tomorrow night. Well, okay. And then she's got basketball Saturday morning, and then there's races on all weekend, you know. Check out the dumpsters. The dumpsters themselves have no trespassing on them, not the gate surrounding them. Well, the can is the important part. If they got it on the can, I'd probably stay out. Well, hell, if I had a harsh winter, I would just be out on a go-kart all day, because there'd be no way I could work. Because I do landscape work. There's only so many driveways you can shovel before you're out being a hoonigan in the neighborhood. Anywhere here in the South, man. I was watching a weather show the other day, man, and just looking at the whole Bible Belt area, and just every year just gets hammered and hammered and hammered with hurricanes. Charleston is not excluded, and it's like, how did people ever settle here in the first place and not move away from hurricanes and tornadoes? I've got a cousin that lives in Mississippi, Rhonda. I know. Oh, I'm sure it probably is, Claire. There's a reason when you watch all those Alaska shows, they're either on quads or snowmobiles, and they're not driving around in trucks. You'd probably stay a little bit drier on a quad than you would on a go-kart that's designed for a child. Being a 6-foot tall man, water from the front wheels just goes up your pant legs and into your socks and your shoes. Yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing about weather like that. I've only ever had to really deal with snow a handful of times in my life. Like once in Northern California, twice when I lived in Washington State. Well, on the roads, I should say, twice in Washington State. I used to drive a Kenworth logging truck way up into the mountains on mountain roads, and it would snow, but they were gravel, so it wasn't like driving on the asphalt. And then 3 times here in South Carolina, but only once like you saw in the riding the go-kart in the snow videos. It's weird to watch myself in like a 15-second delay. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Ham sandwich. See if I can get this phone to work now. Where you got weather like that, you typically have generators and a wood-burning stove. I have a generator that doesn't work, and my fire pit's in the backyard. So when it gets like 10 degrees here, your heater just runs non-stop. We got like a $600 electric bill for that 10 days of snow that we got here. Yeah, that would require I had a boat, though. Because, I mean, I got a river. a brackish water tidal river. Right there. I could throw a baseball and it would roll down the street into the river. I just don't have a boat. If anybody out there's got any unwanted boats, just kidding. Yeah, Susan, I bought my generator for hurricanes too, and then when I went out and tried to get it to start this year, it won't run, and I didn't have the time to mess with it because we were buying supplies instead, because we were staying and boarding up our windows. I had to stick my grandmother on an airplane to Arizona. My mother came and stayed here at my house because my grandmother can't get up and down the stairs here, and if it were to flood, if the downstairs were to flood out, my grandmother wouldn't be able to get up the stairs. So we had to deal with getting her packed up, sticking her on an airplane, getting the cat locked in the house, getting a cat box because I don't have a cat box. My cat uses a dog door. And it just came down to that, and I have a bunch of clients that like, hey, can you go help board up my windows? Can you this, you can that? That it's like I was everywhere. And then once the hurricane passed, it was full on running saws and yeah, good times. Well, especially when you're providing service, Susan. Like, think about, I don't remember at last count. I'd have to look at my client list. I've got a ton of clients, and the majority of them live out of state. And they have, I'm their landscaper. They have cleaning crews, and they have a guy or a gal, depending on the property, who drags their trash can in and out. Who are they going to call when they need the windows boarded up on their house? Are they going to call the cleaning ladies? Maybe the one set of cleaning ladies, because that lady is like 6'3". The person that drags the trash cans in and out, there's a couple of them down there, and they're not doing a thing for you. So they're going to call the guy with the truck. So on top of having to get my own family ready, I got to go deal with vacation properties that people, yeah. Some of them that are like right on the water, that it's like, why am I even doing this? If the hurricane's going to be this bad, this house is going to wash away. Because this chunk of dirt has washed away before in the past. And yes, hurricanes are scary as fuck. This last one that passed by, we were sitting here watching the TV, we were looking at the radar. And the tornado alerts were going off on all three of our phones. And the radar was on the TV, and it was showing tornadic cells. And when you looked at the map, it was the road that runs. But I'm not evacuating. I'm not evacuating. I'm one of the people who is here that gets things back going after the hurricane. I'm the guy with the chainsaws. I'm the guy with the truck. I'm the guys with the heavy equipment, with the equipment that it takes to get the place back open for people to get in, so we stay. But the tornadic cells were running, and it was the side road that runs, that gets right here on the side of my house, and it's only like 4 blocks long, and it was showing tornado activity. So my mom and my wife and I were sitting on the stairway. That was a great time. Not everybody can afford to pack up and see something else you got to think about. You get an entire metropolitan area like Charleston that's already overpopulated as it is. Okay, this place is already way overpopulated. Columbia, that's 2 hours up the road, way overpopulated. Okay, you go out to Walterboro, there's nothing there. The hurricane's going to hit Atlanta, so you can't go there. Not everybody can afford to, at the drop of a hat, pack up all their valuables, get in the car, and drive the 500, 600, 700 miles up the road that it's going to take you to actually find a vacant hotel, to stay for 3 days, and then turn around and have to sit in traffic to get back into the Charleston area, because, yeah, they'll set all 6 lanes westbound for evacuation. It's not how that works. To get back into town, it's 3 lanes in. Drive that should take you 2 hours takes a day. I mean, the whole evacuation process and getting back in is, yeah, no, not happening for me at least. Not happening. I mean, right, yeah, Rhonda, the way I see it, my house withstood Hurricane Hugo and didn't fall down. The highest storm surge on record in the last hurricane, and only being 2 blocks from tidal water with a lunar tide and like a 10-foot storm surge, so the tide was already 8 or 10 feet higher than it should have been with a 10-foot surge. I mean, yeah, you couldn't see our road, you couldn't see our yard. The water blocked up like the bottom 3 or 4 steps of the, well, there was still one step that wasn't uncovered, and I've only got 4 steps. I'm sure. It's a ridiculous process to go through the evacuation. And then good luck getting back. So, I mean, it's, you know, you might as well just have a floating vacation time where every year your vacation is evacuating from a hurricane if you're going to evacuate. Yeah. And what happens if you're sitting in traffic as the hurricane is hitting? Then you're in a car, not a building. You know? You know, but for working folk, yeah, you know, for working folk, it's not practical. You know, oh, they have emergency shelters and emergency buses for the hurricane evacuation. The majority of the people, I don't even want to get into that. It's elderly people who don't leave their house, who are incontinent, that get picked up by those buses to get bussed out of town, and that's not particularly... Nothing for Katrina. You know, whatever that last hurricane was, man, that blew through Houston, that happened right before we got our Hurricane Irma here in South Carolina, that'll put the fear of God in you if you ain't a God-believing man, seeing that, and then having a hurricane that was building just as strong off the coast, but while it was on its way here. Yeah, there you go. Peace up, H.Town, right? Yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't leave. I mean, I've got renter's insurance, but it's got a deductible. You know, there's everything I own in the world inside of this house and in the driveway. Everything I own in this house and in the outside in the driveway. We'll see what the next cycle of hurricanes brings. Farmer's Almanac said it was supposed to snow this week, and it didn't. I haven't looked as far forward to see what kind of a hurricane season it is, but it always worries me when it's this warm in February. Because if it's like 78 degrees here, it's like 80-something degrees in Florida, which means it's like 90 in the Bahamas, and that water is not cooling down very much out there, is what scares me. All that heat and evaporation in the water is what causes these storms. And I'm not a proponent for climate change. I agree the climate has been changing since the Ice Age ended. I don't think we're personally responsible for it, but if you've got an opinion, that's fine. I'll hold mine over here and I'll stop talking about it. But we'll see. We'll see what it brings this year. Anyway, we get tornadoes inside of the hurricanes. Like, yeah, we'll be in the middle of a hurricane blowing by, and tornadoes happen within the bands of the hurricane. It's a good time. Yeah, well, it keeps on raining, that levee's gonna break. Led Zeppelin predicted that shit. Anyway, that's my 30 minutes of time I got for right now. And I should be expecting another box tomorrow, when I'll come back and try to do, well, hell, I got to be at the kids' school. We'll see. That might be a Friday night after basketball practice thing. Maybe a Saturday morning with the kid. Anyway, thanks y'all for watching and stuff. Got to get back to Gotta get back to life. Sure thing, fuckers. Yeah, we'll chat later, Brittany. Hit me up.